Hey guys, it's Di, and I am excited to tell you about a new project that I'm going to be doing for 2013 around my house, and I wanted to share it with you guys as well. I'm calling it Preschool at Home, and what it basically is I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I have a 2.5-year-old and 1-year-old at home, and I wanted to start working on learning activities and learning projects at home to kind of get them learning and just engaging in different activities and just a little bit more structured learning time. I want to make it as flexible as possible because I do have that luxury of I'm with them all day long, and we can kind of structure it however it needs to be structured and do it at the best times of day that work for us. But I just want to kind of build and work a little bit more. If you guys are familiar with my videos, you know that my older daughter Isabella is very enthusiastic about words and reading, and so I just kind of want to build on that and just try to make 2013 as productive a year as possible. So I thought I would just share my plans with you guys. I'm going to just go over basically the items that I'm planning on using, and you don't really have to have any of these items. These are just the items that I have kind of put together to get this kick started. And then I also wanted to share with you my goals for doing this, and then also kind of my vision of what the plan each week is going to be and that sort of thing. So first of all, I went and got this large bulletin board. If you guys have seen our playroom, and I'll link a video of that down below, we got a little desk area, and to put next to that desk area I got this large bulletin board, and this size is 23 inches by 35 inches, so just shy of 2 to 3 feet on either side. And I wanted to make this kind of our learning center. So whatever we're talking about during the week, I wanted to kind of focus everything on this board. We can put our days of the week up here, our calendar, and everything that we're talking about can kind of be centralized on this board. Also, my learning posters. I kind of touched on these in a few videos previously, and this isn't something that you necessarily have to have. I was lucky enough that I have an older sister that used to be a preschool teacher, and she had a number of these that she was able to hand down to me. They're already laminated, and so they're super nice, and I wanted to go ahead and use these since I obviously had them at my disposal. You didn't really have to get anything like this, but obviously I had a whole stack of them. I have about 40 of them that I can kind of rotate through. So my goal is to have 1 or 2 of these up a week, and each week to change out to a different poster and try to keep it with our theme of what we're talking about. This one is like opposites. There's ones for word families, colors, numbers. We have an alphabet up one right now, and so just kind of focusing on different activities. So I'm planning on changing those out and keeping at least one of those on our learning center. If you are looking for these, if you have a teacher supply store near where you live, I would check your teacher supply store out. They usually have a great kindergarten or pre-K area where you could get some toddler appropriate posters. The next items that I've kind of put together to use, and again this is totally optional, we're just going to be occasionally using these, and there's a lot of great printables on the web that you can use instead of getting workbooks, but I did get a number of workbooks because I want to work on writing this year, and so I got a few workbooks with that in mind. There are these Crayola ones, which I actually got in the dollar bin at Target a number of months ago. So I have these to work on shapes and count and connects. And then also I found these actually at Staples when I got the rest of the bulletin board items, and the rest of the items I'm going to show you to put together this project. And this is a toddler book. It's specifically made for toddlers, and it's an I Can Cut book. And this is an I Can Trace book for toddlers. And I thought that these were great because we do have a copy machine here at home, and I thought I can copy it, and when I'm working with it on Bella, we can do it as many times as we need to. We can, you know, maybe try it out, revisit it later in the year if we need to. And then also, since I do have 2 daughters, I'm primarily going to be focusing with Bella to start out with on this project, but then at the end of the year Natalie is going to be 2 years old, and she can kind of get started with these things. So I thought if I made copies of this sort of thing, then Natalie will be able to use it when she gets started with the preschool at home at the end of the year. Also, my mother-in-law got me this great subscription to High Five and Hello for the girls, which is basically the age-appropriate highlights magazine. They have little reading activities and just fun games like match games, so I'm going to be incorporating those into what we're doing at home with the preschool learning activities. And I also have a few different things. I'm going to be starting to pick up these I Can Read books, which just have short stories and easy words for new readers to read. And basically, I'm just going to try to find different stories and work these in with our regular books. Of course, I mean, you can use any books you have at your house. I was just going to start looking at this I Can Read series to add into it. And also I found this little word skills book at our local teacher store. So they're a great place, maybe you can find some inspiration or different workbooks like this. I just thought that this would give me some ideas for different activities to do and that sort of thing. So this is the selection of workbooks that I have so far, and these are more just to kind of kickstart inspiration for me. If we're talking about different themes one week, like butterflies or dogs, I can take activities out of these and we can focus that into our routine. This next portion is actually more for me than it is for the girls, but this is my little binder where I'm planning on keeping all of my lesson plans, and I'm actually just going to be using it as a general kind of household calendar as well. But I got this at Staples, and this is one of my absolute favorite colors. I really love pink and also this kind of turquoise Tiffany blue. So I saw this when I was there and I really, really loved it. So I picked up the insert with the calendar to put it inside. I also got these inserts, which are the 50 project planner sheets, 5.5 by 8.5. And I thought these would be great because I can actually use these to plan out our week. I can put week 1 up here. I can put what our theme is for the week, and then put additional notes if I want to focus on a certain letter, focus on a certain number, and what other activities I want to focus on. And that's the other thing. I'm going to structure it pretty much 1 week at a time, and my plan is for a little bit of time set aside a few times a week, and it will be building on it. So to start out, we may do 2 days a week. We may focus 10 minutes a day on this and then slowly build up from there. I'm not going to be super structured, for 2 hours a day. She has to be sitting at her desk. I don't think that's necessarily realistic for a 2.5-year-old. I want to make it as fun as possible and structured, very flexible, so it can work with our day. So I want to use this to kind of guide my weeks to see what I want to talk about. If we're focusing on the letter S, for instance, right now, and I'm planning on our theme for the very first week being winter fun because it's winter and it's snowing outside here, then we can think of all kinds of fun S words like snow, snowball, sun, whatever S words we can come up with. And I want to come up with all of those things ahead of time so I know some things that I want to talk about and want to focus on with her. And then I also got these dividers just to put different things in there. So I'm going to be putting this binder together, and this is where I'm basically going to keep my plan for what we're going to do each week in there. Basically, my goals for preschool at home are going to be to further Bella's love of reading. She already loves to read. She loves books. So I just want to keep fostering that love and give her some more motivation, have her learn new words, and just kind of keep us on track with the enthusiasm that she has for reading right now. And also, I want her to expand her vocabulary to learn as many new words as possible. I'll probably set a concrete goal at the beginning of the year of maybe adding 100 new words. I probably don't even need, because they're at 3 years old, their vocabulary is expanding just so rapidly that I don't even probably need a finite goal in there. I mean, she's going to be learning a lot of new words, but that's one of my major goals, is to talk about new things we may not talked about otherwise. And also, something else I would like to make as a goal for the year is to have Bella be able to count to 100. She already does really well. She can count to 20. She knows 30 and 40, but we haven't worked all the way up to 100 yet, so that's one goal that I have. Also, as a part of the preschool at home, I want to work on clothing items and her learning how to dress herself, possibly even tying her own shoes. So those are other things that I wanted to work on, just some motor skill things. I also have on a preschool at home goal, potty training, and this may not be on your list, but this made it onto my goals list because this is one of my big encompassing goals for the year. So we may literally have a theme one week that we're talking about everything to do with potty, and our letter of the week may be P, and and that sort of thing. So I want to kind of incorporate those things that we're working on with our preschool at home theme and kind of tie everything in together. I want her to learn how to write letters and work on her writing this year. So that's one of our other big goals for this year, is to work on writing and really start working on letters so we can put those things together by the time she's 3.5. And also, I thought we would work on a little bit of addition and subtraction. I have this on my goals list. I'm not sure if that's maybe a little bit overreaching, but my kind of philosophy as far as teaching and learning is give them challenges, let them work on it. And the last thing I have as a goal for the preschool at home is calendar. Really talking about the days of the week, the months of the year, talking about what year it is, and really talking about that calendar aspect, because obviously that's something that's going to be very important once she goes to school, something that's going to be talked about a lot, and obviously even something that's very important in our just daily lives, because Tuesday is swim class day, and on other days we have soccer or play dates. So just continually talking about days of the week and trying to help her further understand that. So those are basically our goals for what I want to get out of preschool at home this year. And my plan is, like I mentioned earlier in the video, is to have really 2 days a week set aside for some learning time. And that learning time may be 1 to 2 hours a day, but it may not have to be all in one block. So it's very, very flexible. We may work on a coloring and art activity in the morning for 20 minutes. Then later on in the afternoon, we may talk about the calendar for 10 minutes. Then later in the day, we may read books and focus on our theme for another 20 minutes. So I really just want kind of an all-encompassing idea. It's not going to be super structured, especially in the beginning. I really want to ease into it and make it as fun as possible for her. Another big part of my plan for the preschool at home is 2 to 3 days of socialization activities, and these are things we already do, so I'm not really changing anything here. But basically the lessons that she already is doing or has done in the past, like swim class, soccer class, going on play dates a few times a week. We usually go to play places around the area that we live 1 to 2 times a month, the larger like indoor places. So just keeping those in our schedule, and those are going to be an important part of the preschool at home plan, because obviously getting exercise, physical activity, and motor skills is a really big part of being a kid. Keeping those in her schedule and also letting her try new activities. We're doing swim and we've done soccer in the past. Once she gets potty trained, I'm thinking dance class or gymnastics class may be something we will try. We actually have done gymnastics class a long time in the past and it didn't really work out for us at the time, but it is something I'm looking at in the middle of the year. Once Natalie is 18 months old, we may try gymnastics again. So just trying those new learning activities and keeping those in our schedule is going to be a big part of it as well. One of my plans for the preschool at home is integrated learning, and what that term means is just kind of a term that I put together to mean, like, if we're talking about under the sea, and that's our theme for the week, then when we're playing with toys in the middle of the floor, I may focus more on fish when I'm talking and, you know, do kind of under the sea activities. Or if our theme for the week is transportation or buses or whatever, we may focus on our cars and those types of toys more that week than we would other weeks. Another thing that I thought of, we live close to the Chicagoland area, so obviously for under the sea week, we could go to Shed Aquarium that week, and that would be part of it. We may be talking about jungle animals, and we could do a trip to the zoo that week. So incorporating our activity, encompassing these themes into what we're doing overall in our lives is really kind of a goal I wanted to get out of it. We're planning on going to Disney World at some point this year, so I thought that that could be fairy tale week. So just kind of keeping what we're doing that week in line with our theme and really just having as much conversation about it as possible. Another big part of my plan is adding table time to our learning time. We did add that little table over to the side of the activity room at the end of the year, in 2012, and that table I really wanted to focus for Bella when we're doing writing activities, coloring activities, art activities upstairs. That can be her area to kind of sit and learn and have her own space to work on things. We actually just used it today for a New Year's Eve project, and it worked out really well, her having that space to do some coloring and work on writing. And so I'm thinking that table is going to work out really great for the upstairs, and when we're doing art activities and writing activities downstairs, we just use our kitchen table. And the last part of the plan is reading. Reading, of course, is a really big part of our lives, and to me, I feel like it's a really big step and foundation to just learning in general. So focusing on reading and keeping that love of reading there, getting new books into our home, taking trips to the library, reading books continually throughout the day. We probably read in a day anywhere from at least 10 to 15 books, if not more. I've never actually sat down and counted it. So just keeping that in our routine and just furthering that in our routine as well is going to be a big part of it. So those are my general ideas, plans, and goals for preschool at home, and hopefully this has sparked some ideas for you guys as well. And again, this isn't to replace any sort of organized preschool experience. If that's something you're looking at for your kids, I think it's very valuable, especially the socialization, to do that part of it. But what I'm planning on doing is just basically sharing my weekly lesson plan, and I have decided whether I'll be doing a video every single week with what we're doing, or maybe upload one video for 2 weeks at a time, basically show you my lesson plans for 2 weeks at a time. But what I'm planning on doing for maybe like preschool at home week 1, I would show you the theme that we're working on, what we're going to be focusing on either letter or number wise, and then other activities we'll be doing, what art activities I have planned, what books I'm planning on definitely reading throughout the week, and then also things like what posters I may be putting up, what field trips and activities we may be going and doing, and just kind of show you what our plan for the week is. And then maybe you can tailor that to your life, think of some other themes for your preschool at home, and I'm hoping to actually have a really great conversation with you guys as well, so we can bounce ideas off of each other and just really kind of get some learning going at our houses. So hopefully this has all made sense. Feel free to send me any questions you guys have. I just wanted to go over a brief overview of what I have gotten so far to get this kick started. And again, a number of the office things all came from Staples. Things like this bulletin board, they probably would be available really about any office store. I believe like Office Max, even places like Target or Walmart should have some version of this bulletin board. So things like that, if you're interested in that, you can probably find those about anywhere. One other thing I wanted to touch on in this video, and I will also be doing an updated separate video on this as well. After Vlogmas, I had a number of people send me messages or send me comments in the videos asking how Bella started to read and basically my methodology for that. And I do have an older video that's called Teach Your 2 or 3-year-old How to Read, and I'll do an update on that as well in a separate video outside of the Preschool at Home series. But I did want to go ahead and show you guys this. This is something that we used really extensively in the beginning when she first started to read, to introduce words and word sounds. And what I would do is use this erase board. We actually have a smaller version that is for travel in the car as well. And we would use this to write letters and put words together. And this was really great because it's easy to just put a word on there, it's quick and easy to erase it, and you can use it to talk about whatever you're talking about at the time. So if you have a dog at your house and you're talking about the dog, you can quickly write the word on there, and you can say D-O-G, dog. And giving them that visual, I'm a visual learner, so I love the visual aspects of things. So this is something that we used quite extensively when she was first just learning how to put words together and just beginning to read. It's something that we haven't really used in quite some time, but I'm getting ready to pull it back out and kind of incorporate it a little bit into our preschool home as well. So this would be one of the components that we use, and I really like the aspect of this, that it's quick and easy to change it as well. So hopefully this video has been helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.